Welcome back. Let's take a look at some more things in Excel. We're going to just take a look at data and a couple of different things we can do with that. So what I have here is the temperature of cooling water. Basically what we did is we boiled water, and then when it was boiling we took it off of the burner, put a thermometer into the cup that was containing the water, and measured its temperature every 10 seconds. And we've got about 500 readings here, so this is really going down a long way. You can see if I scroll down, I'm heading down quite a bit. Okay, I think we have close to 500 data points here. But let's take a look at a couple of different things that we can do to play around with this. First off, the format of the data. So I can highlight a few cells here, and I can come up here, and right now I'm using a general format, so it's just the numbers that we fed in. But there's a couple of things I can do with this. I might want to change the number of decimal places. So I can increase it, which doesn't really help much because that's adding zeros that don't mean anything. I can decrease it, which is kind of nice because then everything would be uniform if I did that all the way down. In fact, let me just at least highlight this sheet, or this part of the sheet. And so now everything is uniformly 2 decimal places, even though we've got data down to 3 decimal places. I believe it's displaying it 2. If I wanted to put it into scientific notation, I can. Let's see, there it is, scientific notation here. And then so you'll see this as the semester goes on, so just so you're aware of it. So in 2 decimal places, 9.44, and then E plus 0.1, the plus sign means 10 to the positive 1. If we were really small numbers, it would be E minus 0.1 or 0.2. So E, and then the number after the E is the exponent on the 10 in scientific notation. Okay, we're going to look at this data more later, so I'm going to rename this sheet. We're going to call this cooling, and we'll talk about that at a later time. Then let's go to the second sheet over here, and I'm just going to call this grades. So here's some test scores from my pretend class. Okay, so I've got all these superheroes in my class. A couple of things I want to do here. Notice the names of these superheroes are bigger than column C. So I want to change that, and that's easy to do. You come up here to column C, you get that bar that's got arrows to the left and the right, and I'll double click. And that makes column C as big as it needs to be to handle all of those names. And then here's some numbers over here. Actually, take a look at the numbers over here. These are created with a random number generator. So you can see equal random, R-A-N-D, rand, open close parentheses. So when I gather these numbers together, I'm just going to highlight all of them and I'm going to pull them over. So I'm going to make the plus sign with arrows, and I bring that over here. And you'll notice when I did that, all of these random numbers changed. So anytime I do certain operations, the random number generator will change. Now these are grades, so I want to display them as percentages. And I created them with the random number generator. Then what I did is I copied those numbers. In fact, let's just do it again so you can kind of see it happen. So I'm going to take these random numbers. You'll notice they changed when I deleted that other column. I'm going to do a copy. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste values, which we did before. So paste values. And you're going to see the 0.352 at the top of that column on the right is also the top of the column on the left. But as soon as I hit paste, all those random numbers are going to change. Right? So this became 0.855. So that changed. All right, so I've highlighted these. And let's take a look at a couple of different ways of displaying them. They're grades, so let's turn them into a percentage. So I can come down here to percentage. And right now it's to 2 decimal places. It looks like the green lantern's not doing very well here at 1%. I can reduce that. I can just go to 0 decimal places. The other thing you want to take notice of here, look at the 3.7 that Dr. Strange got. When I go to 0 decimal places, 3.7 will round up to 4. So it'll do a round off for you depending on how many decimal places you have. If I go back out to 2, you can see Wonder Woman who got 29.39. When I go to 1 decimal place, that'll go to 29.4, but Dr. Strange will go to 3.7. Right? So the 29.39 rounded up to 0.4, the 3.73 rounded down to 3.7. Now, if I do any calculations with those numbers, all of the decimal places that were on there originally will stay. So it doesn't round off during any future calculations. That's just a display. It has nothing to do with how those numbers are calculated. Another commonly used format is dollar signs. So I can turn all this into dollars. And of course, all the numbers were less than 1. So that's going to be less than $1. Let's undo that. And let's take these numbers. And I'm going to do Control C. I'm going to go to this column. And I'm going to do Control V. I'm going to get rid of the percentage. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let's go back. So I'm hitting that upper left arrow. I'm going to take this number here in column D, and I'm going to multiply it by 1,000. So times 1,000. And then I'm going to take that number and I'm going to drag it down. Is that going to copy that formula all the way down? Notice over here on the right, all those random numbers changed. And let's change that column to dollars. And so you can see that it's formatting in dollars. It goes to 2 decimal places, number of cents, right? And I can actually make that 0 decimal places if I want. I can go to different units. I'm just going to use English dollars here. But I can change that to 0 decimal places if I wanted to do that. The other thing I might be interested in doing is looking at sorting. In other words, here are my percentages on this test. Who did the best? So what I can do is I can highlight the entire column. Okay, I highlight the entire column, and then I'm going to go over here to sort, and I'm going to go smallest to largest. Now, it comes up with this expand the selection. Now, what that means is if I don't expand the selection, it's going to sort without moving any of the names around. So let's do that. Let's continue with the current selection only. And so you're going to see Spider-Man remain at the top. So 1.35 was the lowest value, but it didn't change who came with that. So I'm going to undo that. So I'm going to do Control Z to undo that. Oh, it didn't undo. There it goes. Then I go to sort smallest to largest, and now I'm going to expand the selection. And what that does is it automatically grabs any columns adjacent. Now, if I were sorting rows, it would be any rows adjacent, but any columns adjacent to the one I'm working with. So I'm going to sort, and you can see the Green Lantern had the lowest score, and Dr. Strange had the second lowest. Sue Storm had the highest score. All right, so all of that sorted along with it. Let me undo that again. And I'm going to take my dollars over here, and I'm going to drag them to the right. So the dollars, if you notice, the 352 is still with Spider-Man. Now let's do that sort again. Smallest to largest, and we'll expand the selection. So I'll keep that clicked, and I hit sort, and I did not expect it to sort. Oh, it sorted it because of the formula. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste values. And we'll delete all this. And I want that to be in the same row. It's good for you guys to see that I don't do everything perfectly correct. Let's highlight this row, and let's sort again. This time I'll sort highest to lowest. And I'll expand the selection. And there you go, Sue Storm's at the top, but notice the 13.53 didn't change. So this column did not sort when these two columns did. Okay, one last thing I want to show you real quickly. I'll go back over here to cooling, and let's not do scientific notation. I'm going to change all this back to numeric format, general format. As I scroll down, let me drop down, you'll notice the headers at the top disappeared. And sometimes I want to be able to keep seeing those. I want to see this time and temperature. So one of the things we can do is we can go to the View menu, and I go to Freeze Panes. And I'm going to freeze the top row. I can do freeze the top row in the left column, or I can freeze the first column. That freeze panes is freezing the top row in the first column, or wherever I happen to have this cursor. But I'm just going to freeze the top row. So I click on that, You'll see this got like a little dark underline here above row 1. And now when I scroll down, I can still see that top row. Notice this is A1 and this is row 1, this is row 58 because I've scrolled down. Okay, so that's something that we'll do, especially when we have large quantities of data. All right, that should do it for this lecture. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you.